Welcome everybody to the Numerology Alumni Series 5. Can you guys imagine? 5 months ago, I officially started running monthly webinars that were specific towards people who have been lined up and have their numerological understanding of what's going on inside of their chart. It's an absolute gift, an honor, a blessing, and a pleasure to be able to serve you guys continuously and to be here with you as you guys grow into massive champions. It's been a crazy month. If anybody's like, crawling from August and like, still shell shocked from all the stuff that had to go down and all the stuff that happened and, the challenges we went through and all the things we went through. For me, I felt like I kind of removed myself from it and got married while I could and then came back into it. And now we're really ready to take this thing to the next level. But I was very, very blessed to have the most amazing month of my life so far. I fulfilled a lifelong dream of being married. Like, guys, since I was like 8. Since I was like 8, I was like, I want to get married. I want to be married. I want to be a dad. I want to have kids. And it was like since the very beginning. So to see it all happen and the way it did, and the pictures and all that stuff. So it was just absolutely magnetic time for us. So we appreciate all of you guys for all of your sweet well wishes and all the bit of love you guys gave us. And this meeting tonight is a bit of a special message. Okay, so I'm thinking, I'm like looking over how am I going to say this, and then I'm like, oh, I better grab Isabella for this one, like my big, huge crystal. I'm like, all right, let's put this in my lap, and there's a special message for today because let's put it this way. You guys, we're gonna talk about the numbers, and inside of them we see 9 of them, 1 to 9. And when we look at a September month, we're looking at a 9 month. So inside of it, every year we see a vibration for an entire month that says, okay, you're done. Okay, that's it. Okay, it's over. And whether it be the end of a season, the end of school break, the end of winter break, whatever it is, whatever time of world it is for you, wherever you are in it, the 9, whether it be 9 p.m., whether it be 9 o'clock in the morning, or whether it be 9 energy in a month or in a day, it's about completion. That's the last number. You jump to the end. And then next thing you know, you're going to move on to a new cycle. So I thought it was fitting that seeing as we had planet, cosmic storms, solar, sun dance, and like, this looked like a gang war of the planets over the last 2 months. Like, it was nuts. And it's not stopping. A lot of this stuff was pulling out like the deepest, like we're trying to like go in for the Titanic worth of experience inside of our being. Like the world is pulling all of this stuff out of us, like deep level stuff. I'm not going to go into it anymore. But the vibration now is like, it's coming to a draw. It's coming to a close. It's coming to an end. Every single thing that happens will run its course and will set us up for the new realm, the new vibration, the new whatever it is that we're going through. So we get a chance to look at this, and especially since, all you guys and I, we have this extra tech, this like numerology stuff that we can see and actually look at the vibrations and stuff, we get a chance to capitalize on this in a way that a lot of people just don't have access to. So when I wanted to do this, I was like, I have to. And I was, what's crazy? About 2 to 3 hours ago, I started feeling a lot of anxiety, like a lot of like worry, a lot of this emotion, like how are we going to make it? And, what's going to happen? And like, it's really weird. And I'm sitting here thinking like, what am I experiencing here? Like, what is it that I'm actually going through? And I looked at this and I felt, the worry, will this business work? And, am I going to make it? And how do I create what I need? And is this going to help me become successful? And I felt, and I had to slow down. I had to take a nap. And I'm like, because I'm thinking to myself, well, I'm having a big call. There's going to be a bunch of people there. I felt like I was really tuning in to like the people who are putting that energy around this call. The people who are putting that energy around this call. So, hey, it could be you. This message, I could be directly speaking to I'd say, if possible, let it be for you. If at all possible, let this message speak directly to the strings and the harp of your soul that just says, yes, it's my anxiety. That's absolutely my uncertainty. It's the difference between where I'm at and where I want to be. It's the feeling of, I don't know why I'm in this business, or I need to get to the next level. I need to find out the next thing, or I need to figure myself out. And this happens to a lot of us, okay? The energy of today, the energy of this year, the energy of the month. We're going to go through it. I'll just give you guys a little temperature check on all of this. It's about letting go. It's about having fun. It's about enjoying the process, which is easy to say when you're not enjoying the process and you're just like, I'm not enjoying the process. So when we get a chance to go through this and pull some gems from this, makes me feel like, you know what, we're growing and we're absolutely getting to the next biggest place of stuff, inside of our world. Sometimes we've been carrying with us a huge bag of experiences, bag of feelings, a bag of emotions, lost validations. We need to get recognized, and someone needs to pay for that. And, we've been victimized, and we must be heard. And our ego gets sort of like wrapped up around all of these experiences, and it becomes really emotionally heavy to the point where something breaks and our back breaks, or our health breaks, or we go through a thing, or we lose someone, or we lose something, or something happens and we're brought to our knees and we're thinking, man, as if this wasn't hard enough. Now suddenly I'm crushed and I'm brought to my knees and I'm not where I want to be. I'm not where I need to be, and this and that, and oh my God, and this and this and that. And you get a chance to recognize something. Like, sometimes when I take something away from my little girl, it's dirty and I need to take it away from her so I can clean it. Some things that you have in your bag need to break. Some things in there need to be this catalyst of bringing you down to your knees. Some of this stuff has to be the straw that breaks the camel's back. So in case you're feeling any of that anxiety, I just want to say something to you guys. I want to speak to your greatest wealth. I want to speak to your most ultimate abundance, that you are enough, and that you know you're enough, and that you're with good people here. You are with good, I'm not sure if anyone has pieced this together. This is a room full of people who have all invested inside of themselves. They have taken the time to know their shortcomings and their strengths. They have taken the time to really learn about what their names say about them. All of you guys here have taken the opportunity to invest in growing your own internal awareness about what you've got. And when all of us get together, we stand strong as a fabric, and we stand strong as a quilt of consciousness. That, hey, great, so what? Maybe we're all dealing with the human experience. I don't think one of us isn't. In some way, shape, or form, whether it be this, that, or the third, we all have something that's making us say, hey, I'd like to move to a better place. Could be our financial situation, could be our past. It could be, all kinds of crazy things that are going on. Like even the stuff, like inside of our house, it never ends. I'm not sure if I even should be saying, probably not going to go so far, but with, certain things, but, we have children with other parents, and that alone is like a jack-in-the-box anxiety that could pop at any time, that we don't know what this guy's going to say. We don't know what we can expect from it at any given moment. So it keeps us on our toes. It keeps us on our edge. There's never a dull moment. And I was reading, The Subtle Art of Not Giving by Mark Roswell or something. And the key component that I that really just went doom. I'm like, oh, this is why I got this book, was when he was talking about the successful people. They don't eliminate problems, they just get better ones. And this is what we really have to recognize, is that you're never going to solve this. Like, for those of you who are dealing with the anxiety or the challenge or the what if and all this stuff, we're never going to solve the piece. As soon as we handle a problem, fine, done, slap. Then there's another page and another page and another problem, and another thing happens. As we breathe, old things break. As we breathe, new technologies replace old ones. Every breath out is a moment past. Every food, every meal, every action, everything we do exists in records in time, and then it splits off into its next form. Whether it be a brand new package that needs to get recycled, or maybe a really good solid idea and then it doesn't come to pass. Perhaps maybe it is a really good party and then you have to clean up after. Or maybe I did make a really good meal for my family the other day, and then someone's got to do the dishes. So whatever it is, this cause and effect is going to be a constant mechanism in the motion of who you are. So if you're feeling it and you're feeling this pull, it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, I need to get this thing off of me, but every time I pull it off, something hurts because it's stuck somewhere and it's not quite coming off properly. And I want to pull this experience off of me. I don't want to feel this, but every time I do, it hurts. It bugs me. It's challenging me. So today I wanted to just give you guys a space to understand, let go and let God, okay? Like let go and let the universal energy, let the vortex do its work. And oh, how do you get into the vortex? How do you let go and let God? How? What do I need to do? What's the step? Breathe. I told you guys in the chat, ready your oxygen tanks right there. So, and the power of a conscious breath, you'll know it's doing something when you get up to that level, and then it suddenly starts to get a little shaky and you realize, oh my God, now I have emotion. There's emotion in this breath. I have to take a deep breath, and you pull it out and it's kind of shaky, and at the end of it, it kind of stammers a little bit. There's a place to breathe out here that really swells up the emotion, and then there's a place to breathe from underneath you that swells into your life force, that swells into you. And I'm not going to get into breathing techniques and how to breathe and all of that stuff. If you want more on that, you definitely got to see my boy Craig. But you have to understand something, guys, that we are machines. There are two components here. There's our spiritual, emotional, energetic, and feelings body, and then there's our actual, you're born and then you're done, and you're a walking machine on this planet. I know I've talked about this before, but it really pays attention to understand these things. Because now, guess what? People are breaking. Things are getting thrown up. Part of us is no longer. We're dealing with anxiety, and could be a phone call we don't want to get, or it could be a thing that's looming. For some of us, I remember when I was there, the phone, I didn't want to answer it. It was a collector, and I would, it was this like buried anxiety of like, I'm they can keep charging me. When I'm ready to pay it, I will. And that happens to a lot of us. Even some of you guys who are still on payment plans. If you are, take a nice, easy, oh, it's okay. You know that it's all good. I'm going to be one piece of the universe that gives you patience, that gives you love. I understand this growth we're in. This is why I'm offering continued support. Because if we can just band together, if we can just come together with this family idea that says you're welcome here, let's make you successful, let's find out that story that you're telling yourself, and let's pull it away like the Velcro or the barb from after a hike. Let's take that thing off so it doesn't continue to stick onto you. But it's tough. We can't do this alone. And this is why we're creating a net. We're creating a really strong net of people. It was really crazy today. I had some good news and I had some bad news. So today I went to, I was doing a couple sessions for people, and I went to add them inside of the chat group. I've got this numerology chat group. It's where it started, Numerology Alumni. Before it was a Facebook group. It was a group chat on Messenger, and it said I can't add them. There's an error. I'm like, oh, this person must have their settings. You can't add them to a thing. So then I added someone else, and then it said maximum capacity. You can't add any new members to this chat. I'm like, what do you mean I can't? So what am I supposed to do? And it dawned on me that I was at the end of an era inside of my own personal little, business in my life. And I can't add my clients to this private chat anymore. Like if you're in there and some people leave and I accidentally add them back again. I'm like, oops, sorry. I'm just going and trying to make sure I get everybody included. But there are some people who leave. If you can't stay in, I get it. But I can't really add that many more people in there. This is going to become like the first little group, and this is going to become a relic inside of social media where we created this pocket space in Messenger. I think I should probably do another one. I don't know, but then it's so hard. The ideas started flooding. Do I create chat? And I'd love your guys' feedback on this. If anybody wants to drop this in the chat, just to sort of spitball here. Should I make group chats for each life path? That was a big one. To have a condensed chat for everybody who's a life path one. That might be a little bit of a cool looking group chat, or maybe everyone who's in the same, I think life path would be enough, but I was toying with the idea, and I was sitting there looking at it, smiling, and I'm like, wow, I didn't use the feature properly. I know it should have been a group all along, but I wasn't there yet. Now that we are, we're transferring to this. A growth stage occurs. This is a really small example because this is a really great thing, right? Like, oh my God, business is expanding, but here I am going with this anxiety, like, but I got my group chat. I got to let go of something. Like, what's the deal? And then, oh, let go. See, I'm not going to lie. I'm listening. And like, I'm caught too. I'm a human being, guys. Like, we all do this together. And like, it's like, okay. So when we get a month like this, we have to let go of expectations. We have to let go of some of the things that we broke or some of the things that got damaged or, and it was dear to us, some of these ideas that we had to think, I want to be super successful. And then you're like, that was my business confidence. Now that all my family's rejected me and they're like, get a real job, get out of your business. You can't sell anything. And worse yet, it's their energy that does that. And then it really fills into our mind. And we get this anxiety of whether we should, tell people about the water and should we even try and bother and then then it's like, shoot, now I spent $10,000 on this and I have to like keep this together and, let's try to glue it back. And some things were meant to be broken. So in the really big scheme of things, the universe was like, whoops, and then knocked it over for you because clearly we weren't going to. We had a false idea, a bad pretense, a half-baked idea that was just like, you got to grow. And I remember me in my first few years of business, I was like living on credit and like not building my business and like just pretending I was. And it satisfied it for a little while until I was like, nope, can't do it anymore. I don't have any more money. I'm not making in the sales I need to. My business isn't thriving. I need to move back in with my parents. And for anybody who was around in 2015, like that was like, I was like a couple of $1 million in a penthouse and, it was downtown Vancouver, Yaletown, like 17 floors, 2 floors. And the rent was like, my rent was like $1,700 and the whole place was like $6,000 a month. And it was pretty extensive. And, it was, we're entrepreneurs and let's dress up in suits and go to parties. And every so often we get a sale, but we weren't doing the real work. Takes away. God, nope, that's it. And then it goes in through a completely different path where, this whole, like I'm on the island. I have family now. Like if you ask me, which one I choose, family, Sally, my kids, all of their challenges and, they're young. So they need special attention at that age, as opposed to living that free downtown lifestyle. And, like for me, this is where I really wanted to be. So sometimes things get taken away from you and it looks like it's really bad, but then there's something really good coming. And like, you can't, if this will really test your, like who wants to take the test? Your law of attraction, law of manifestation, law of intention, all these weird spiritual laws and law of gravity. And let's see how good you really are in a second here. How willing are you to accept change? And how much do you really want it? I was learning about this. And I was like, this is so unbelievable to think that we want all of this success, but then some parts of us don't want to change, or we don't want it that bad, or we end up attaching to the things that we think are serving us when really they're not. And it's a challenge because we all have identities. We all think that we know stuff and how much we want. And I'm like, we should create this support group. So it's with such a huge honor and blessing that, 5 months later, we're going strong. This is something I'm going to do every single month to give you guys a, like, let's call it like a monthly town hall or, whatever label you want to label it, alumni series, so that you guys understand that this is a specific conversation for those who have said, that's it. I'm going to be good. I'm changing my name. See, look, I took the letter. I'm doing everything that I need to do. This is part of it. Because that one decision is going to get combated against all of the stuff that's like, happening, like the universe says, yeah, but for the last how many decades you've been running your different programs and now you want to change it and you want to take a letter, it's going to change. That's why for me, I'm like, and I mean, even I'm looking at some of the people up top. Estelle's just doing like this. She changed her name legally. Like there was a legal shift. Some of you guys are going to go that far one day. Can you imagine? I mean, some of you guys already have because you got married or divorced or, you know, you needed to change your name for some reason or whatever happened. But there are so many different levels of saying no, no. And when you do some of the big ones up front first, the universe is like, yeah, right. Slap you right off the mountain. No way. Watch all your shit crash right now. You change your name. Let's see everything spill over. Let's see what you do. Let's see what really is made of substance here and what was just slippery goo that needs to drain out. And when we look back at this and we see this as all us and all love and all existence and all this stuff, we kind of get this really overwhelming supreme level feeling, or at least I hope you do. I know I do, to think, oh my God, this was all part of the plan. This was all part of the purpose. We were supposed to go through this so that we could create the integrity. For me, I think, honestly, the crap that we have to experience in our lives is relevant to the amount of help that we can give other people. And unless we go through it, we're just like, we're not helping others. We're basically just, and this was the really big idea that I got when I came clean to my parents about my addiction, like 3 something years ago now. I'm like, I'm going through a tough time and I've been hiding this for 2 years and, I just wasn't saying anything and I thought I would never tell anyone. And here I am at my parents' bedroom, just letting them know that all this stuff was going down. It was like the most difficult conversation ever, but I came out renewed being like, you got to speak on addiction. You have to speak on fear. You have to speak on depression. You have to speak about this stuff so that people know that they're not alone and that they can actually pull themselves out of it. And man, I got out with my life. That's a really huge, and I'm looking at this. I go to the gym now. So I'll go to the gym and I'm going for a run and all the news, Barbados, Dorian, and I'm just like, and they're showing the disastrous stuff. I'm not sure if you guys watch the news. I don't. So when I'm like, I don't know what's happening. And I look at the TV and I'm like, whoa, and my heart, it just feels like a towel. And someone just went ranked on all of it. I'm like, oh, take all my love. I would, and I'm just sitting there running, right? I'm like, I'm so blessed that I'm sitting here as a tourist watching this on TV as I'm running, paying my membership fee. My kids are going to school. I got a business here. I'm so grateful for all these things in my life. And some of these people had everything ripped from them. Like God was just like, and literally just went, let's just smudge all of this and let's just get it moving forward. I looked at the satellite photos and I know this is conversation that's really weird for people, but I'm like, they're doing this. Somebody's making this. This isn't just this isn't real. And I'm just so convinced that there's this anyway, more conversation for other time, but I'm just so skeptical of everything that I see on the news. I'm like, no, this is geopolitical engineering and this is the Illuminati and they're trying to take your mind and don't watch it for too long. And, and I'm looking at this and I'm like, man, the people that have to pay for this. So, perfect little time to quickly just grab your blessings and just be like, okay, I'm still here, doing the little spiritual Macarena for your keys. Okay, everything's good. I'm still alive. My life isn't that much of a disaster. And when we get a chance to recognize where we're at, it's a beautiful, all you really need to do is just Care Bear stare and just really put your love into the universe and put that thing into gratitude and be like, whoa, no, everyone's in pain. I wish it would be better. I'm so blessed and glad and thankful. Man, I was stuck in this headache about how miserable my life was when really now it's not that bad. It's not, I'm not going to, I'm going to be okay. Or I made it. Some of my friends who have got people who have not, you guys are the lucky ones. We're the ones who breathe. We're the ones who continuously keep going. So we make sure our helmets are strapped on tight. That's our brain, guys. We've got a computer central processing system. This is a very highly sophisticated memory response, reticular information, computing system, supercomputer. And we're Spider-Man in his movie with Iron Man, we're in training wheels mode. We only got less than a few % of access and control. And we're we think we're in control of our brain. No, very on the opposite. What we are in control of is how we listen to the vibes that we get and give. We have a choice. The choice is that infinite decision where we make that move to say, this is a moment that I'm going to work to my success. This is a moment that I put into a limiting belief. Oh, this is a story that doesn't serve me or help me or heal me. So we get all this chance to really take this, and we get really confused with this. I used to fight and be like, no, my heart's in control. My heart wants what it wants, and my brain's going to deal with it. And like I always was at odds with myself and odds with that feeling. And I started to recognize that your brain is, or your body is a machine, and it requires nutrition, it requires exhaustion, and it requires hydration. So you need to eat right, you need to do right, and like work out, sweat, get a good exercise in. You know, you have, like, it's very mechanical. There's only a few certain things that are going on. So I'm not sure if you guys caught this or not, but this coined the wealth alignment. This is like my new curriculum. This is really cool. And you know, what we get a chance to do inside of the wealth alignment is go over a few really cool, powerful things. I'm just gonna give you guys like a small little synopsis of how this stuff works, because we've been doing this, and this is the total 10,000 foot view of what Bobby can offer for the universe. This is never gonna change. It may get better. I hope it does evolve. Programs, events, there's going to be like workshops. Mainly you guys are experiencing the guinea pig stages of all this. So what you guys have been learning, what you guys have been growing through, the things I've been saying to you, it's all part and parcel of what this more expanded conversation looks like. So inside of the wealth alignment, and some of you guys may be like, oh, I haven't done this one yet. I haven't actually seen this one yet. I haven't had this session yet. I haven't had a chance to have this talk yet. So in case that's you, there is a discount rate that will be shared here. I'm not going to be putting it inside the group. This is just for you guys as a special thanks for saying, hey, thanks for coming out. Thanks for being here. If you're watching the replay and you're like, oh, did you get the link? And if you want to share it with them, hey, I can't stop your karma, but I'm not going to say, all I'm saying is that if you guys were here, you get this nice little bonus. Okay. And we're going to make sure it's in the chat. Boom. So, oh, it's private. Sorry, let's do that one more time. Just kidding. Never mind. Oopsie daisy. Okay, there you go. So you guys can use this in case anyone wants to have one of these conversations. You're like, well, let's get together and do this. So when I'm looking at the wealth alignment, there is a mindset conversation. Remember, this computer, it is like, you know how when you need a certain idea and the brain's like, draws a blank, writer's block. And it's like, I don't want to say anything. And then you're like, oh, okay, fine, I got to go to sleep then. And I got an early day tomorrow. I'm going to go sleep early. Let's do this. And then you lie down and suddenly your brain's like, and you're like thinking about every single math idea you could ever have. And you remember stuff from like your past. You're like, oh my God, brain, why don't you just like me? Why do you do this to me? And like, this is the challenge that we have, is because we're at odds with ourselves. Your mindset has got to be bulletproof. And okay, join a business. That'll definitely start the process, just so you know. But when we need to have a conversation about your mindset, it's about catching some of these things that are like, oh, I have a story about my wealth. Well, there's your problem. And the feeling that we could change that to, so small little example, is to say things like, hey, you know, up until now, or I've experienced at times in my life a mindset that has not been as good as it needs to be. And I always continue to get better. I will always commit to getting better. I will never stop getting better. But hey, sometimes some days are better than others. I get it. You want to acknowledge where you're not and at least know that you're putting that, hey, I get it. It hasn't been as great as it needed it to. That doesn't stop me. I'm still going to keep growing. I'm still going to keep going. If you want to test it, try holding your breath. Life will take over at a certain point because you're not really that in control. And you're going to be like, blah, and you're going to end up breathing. And like, how long did I hold my breath before it took over, before life took over? And some people pass out. You lose consciousness because clearly you're not fit to even be awake. And you're going to lose consciousness and come back to, because your mind, subconscious, unconscious, takes over. So really having a solid level of mindset is like, it's a good thing to sharpen this. And when we're looking at this wealth alignment, I'm looking at like, there's basically 6 of these. I like to call them like the 5 in the hand and then the palm and like the high 5. So your mindset, absolutely critical. We sharpen this thing every day. I know I can. I'm the best. I'm going to make it happen. And one thing that you can really understand, or, you know, imagine my screen, everything you can see is the universe, okay? And within it, we have this little box, which represents visible light. So everything we can see, all five senses, everything we know, every single thing we can perceive, any single thing that has a sense, five senses, all of existence that we can touch it, hear it, sound, it's all inside this space. And the universal cosmic waves and UV rays and all these different things are basically outside of our awareness. Now, let's zoom this in. And now this entire screen represents, this entire field of view represents visible light. And this represents conscious awareness. Do it one more time. Conscious awareness, boom. And then now this paper represents what you have. So if you're telling me that you got a list of limiting beliefs and a list of stories that are reasons why you can't get where you're going or whatever's happening inside of you, it is a fraction of 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 what the universe has available, has in store, is working in the background. You have no possible way of understanding the bigger mechanic of what the universe or what the divine levels or whatever it is starts to say. That is spirit set. So when we're looking at your mindset, we also have to make sure that you have an unrelenting trust inside this purpose that you're here to do. The coaching program that you know is going to save a lot of people a lot of pain. It's going to help them through your modality that grows. And it's been this sharpening tool. Like maybe it's not numerology for you. Maybe it's something else. Maybe it's tapping. Maybe it's, what you guys have, in-depth, intuitive, NLP. Like I know that there's a lot of really cool stuff that goes on in here, but it's your version. It's your piece. And you know that that's going to be something there. It's just, we have to trust. And it's hard to do that when we're worried about, well, I don't know how I'm going to pay the bills and I don't know how it's going to come. That will occupy your mindset. If you can see that and still say, but it's going to be okay because the universe takes care of me no matter what. Worst case scenario, I have to go work at McDonald's. Worst case scenario, I have to go kill a deer outside. Worst case scenario, I have to go and actually fight to survive. And or my government takes care of me while I'm like really depressed. Like and that's no shame. If you need to be depressed, thank God you live in a country where there's things like, Centrelink and, like assistance and low income, whatever it is. Like you guys are entrepreneurs. There is no safety net, but there's no ceiling either. And that's what they say. I remember reading this in a bathroom stall. The bad news is there's no key to the universe. But the good news is there's no lock either. So you have to realize that what you're going through is a piece that actually becomes strength for you to draw back on once you recognize, oh my God, this was so cool. I've been here before. So inside of the wealth alignment, we talk about your mindset. We talk about your spirit set. I've been there. I remember in this conversation, we were talking about this. A lot of you guys are old souls. A lot of you guys have very powerful vibrations in your birthday and your chart. It's this really solid piece that says, hey, look, you know what? I know I'm part of a bigger thing. So when we're looking at this, we're like, okay, there's also skill set. And this is learning how to do things like, digital marketing, affiliate marketing, online, creating weird things like a website or creating weird things like a sentence or a headline. And there's all these weird little skills that we have to get good at doing, or even just the power of asking questions. That's a skill. And even further, when we start to add these together, what type of questions are you asking yourself? So this stuff starts to weave in back into itself, really, really powerful. Comes to the next piece, which is communication. How do you talk to yourself? We just said that. How do you talk to others? What are you communicating with every single action that you take? So sometimes people are not aware that this negativity is pulling at them from the inside, and they're just like, I don't know what's wrong with me. And I'm like, I can't figure out why can't I do this? You're communicating to the universe that you are in out of awareness, and that your awareness is what really matters, and that you keep pulling yourself down. You're making a communication to the universe. It could just be that there's something bigger and greater beyond your level of understanding that's pulling you to your knees so that it can try to pull this away from you. And here we are stubborn, just hanging on to this idea. And God's just like, no, take it back. I'm taking it back. You're like, no, I know that this is what I need to do. And then it just breaks and spills. And now next thing you know, we're faced with our emotional reality of failure. And so I'd like to think we have to make a really bulletproof case around ourselves to make sure we know this stuff. Of course, numerology made it to the wealth alignment. Understanding this language is like, what? knowing all of this stuff is absolutely empowering. And then the palm, leadership. How do you give this to someone and pull them up so that they can use it? How can you give this to someone so that they can become a leader and this can duplicate? What's that curriculum? That thing that just says, if you knew these 5 things, if you knew these 5 things, these 6 things, these core competencies, how would it look like inside of your life? So some of you guys who have worked with me extensively have gotten this, but it didn't look like that. And so, you know, it was really cool because I was releasing it. I'm releasing it with you guys. It's going to be something big that I talk about for the next little while. It's turning into a lot of stuff. So this not really too relevant for you guys, but I really wanted to share with you anyway. Affiliate marketers, right? So just hear this, because this is like really more for me. And I appreciate you guys lending your love energy and your, you know, your cheerleader energy for me. Just feel my dreams and feel my my exhilaration about bringing this forth to you guys. So we're building our automatic process. This isn't that relevant for you guys because you guys are in the inner circle. This is the alumni race. So you guys are not paid advertisements. You guys are not, you know, like me talking to Facebook and asking them to, you know, how we're supposed to do this for our business. You guys are colleagues of mine. You guys are friends of mine. This is my family. You guys have been there. You guys are my aunties and uncles to my kids. You know, you guys have met them, right? For those of you who have, we're a community together. So this isn't exactly relevant for you guys, but when I go out there to the people who don't know me and don't know Enagic yet, so imagine the big level game plan here, is to give them an opportunity to go through the wealth alignment, as this is like a self-study course. You get a chance to pay in for access, and then this nice little curriculum shows up, workbooks, and helping you go through things and really leading you down a sales process that will lead into the wealth alignment as a workshop, a numerology wealth workshop, a 3-day event, or even working with me one-on-one, or working with me one-on-one long-term inside of my Enagic organization. Like, there's really cool things that are happening. And I had to like express this in a long-winded way, because without you guys, like sincerely here, like not even joking here, without you guys here, like Andy, Angelique, Ashlyn, Brandy, Craig, Dean, my brother Dean, Demeen, Estelle, Jan, Jennifer, Jesse, Joanne, Karen, what's up? Limomi, Sally's here, my Sally, Sky, Susie, Tanis, Vicky, the rest of you guys, the 200 and some people in the group, the over thousands of people that I've been working with. Without you guys, this wouldn't have been possible. I needed to build something around myself, and you guys laid it in one piece at a time, one session at a time. You helped me grow. You showed me a piece of the universe. You guys were vulnerable with me. You guys opened up your deepest darknesses and was like, help me. And I'm like, well, let's take a look at the numbers and let's measure this out. And I was empathetic, and I absorbed your energy with lots of love. I was never resentful for that. And we did this together. So I am in forever grateful gratitude for this idea of having my alumni. All of this community, everything that I'm doing right now, it all was based on you guys deciding, you know what? I'm going to give this guy a chance. I'm going to work with him. I'm going to do this. I'm going to get this session in. And for me, there's this feeling that says, I have to help you guys through, and I'm going to be there with you in order to do that. So I'm super, super thankful that you guys are all here and that you guys have decided to join this road with me. I hope that it gives you the space that you need to let go of some of these things. And then sometimes we end up getting into the conversation of, how do I get this person to do this? How do I get someone else to act? How do I make someone else do something? And for me, it was just like, I think we're missing the point, because we can only control ourselves. And when we're looking to seek power or stability or relevance in the mandating actions of others, it can be a really challenging piece. The person who said this wasn't here, so I'm just going to keep it just between us, but they lost something. And you know, they were really upset at me, being like, if I'm so good at law of attraction, why can't I bring this back? And I'm thinking, you know, like, what's it all for? They were angry that they lost something extraordinarily important, and for all this for not being able to actually act and bring it back. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, well, we missed the point. And you know, this is one of those challenges we have to go through, is that we've got this skewed idea on what's going on, and the universe has bigger plans. So if you can surrender and recognize, you know what, I'm out one day. You know, Clint said this on a post. I'm not sure if anybody sees it. You're going to die one day. What are you going to do about it? And I'm like, that's phenomenal. Because I love it. I love that idea. It's like, well, so what are you going to do? I'm gonna invent a time machine. And like, no, you're going to leave a legacy. I've already have my son. That's my time machine. You see, this guy looks like me. And I'm like, I've completed the cycle. I know that my destiny, my legacy will live on. And if this is truly my spiritual community, I'll probably come in, reincarnate as my great-great-grandson, and I'm off to the races again. And it feels like we've been doing this with ourselves, and we hold on to the karmic energy and, well, it's my great-grandfather's name or my great-grandmother's name, or I'm the only one in the family who has it. And, you know, we're named based, even my kid, it's got my name, my dad's name. I'm like weaving in this value of like love based on the most purest form of my energy to say, I want my son to have my name, like that feeling of ego. It says, I made this. And obviously Sally played a big part in that, no big deal. But like, you know, that feeling of thinking I've made a human being, and that is your time machine, watching your little kids grow and being the parent to your own inner child as you're raising your future. This is how we transcend time. This is how we do it. Also, a really cool thing that we do to transcend time is we look into your future. Anybody with them sevens in their chart, and you guys are like super spiritually like connected, and you can almost like visualize and manifest and see that into the future. Like just give a moment's thought to, if you got the 7, we're really relying on you to just sort of like, you know, pull up your spiritual flag here, your antenna, let it go out, and just feel the hope, and feel that, you know, that feeling that's like, this has got to work. You know, I'm like tapping into this, and that feeling of like, you know, what do I write? What's the ad? What's the thing I say? You know, what thing do I do to make my business fly? Like, what program is it? What thing do I have to learn? And see the future of all of that anxiety in success. Like, do me a favor, let's just visualize it. Everyone here who's like, you know, worried, or they're financially up against the wall, or they're deflated because, you know, the ego's been ripped out of them, you know, because nobody wants to talk to them about their business. We get gun shy. Feel all that energy and see look at that person. Could be somebody in this chart, in this group, could be somebody in the chat who never made it, could be someone who immediately comes to mind, and just like look at that challenge and then think, if they only knew that right a few steps ahead of them is the success that they're looking for. It's the gem that they were looking for, the piece of gold that they were trying to find. And we will use that energy to just wave this nice healing rainbow over top of everything. And I'll be fair with you guys. I promise you guys we're going to do this. The 9 energy is like a spiritual Ghostbusters vacuum backpack that just like sucks it all out and says, let's let it go. I'm done with this, and I don't need this anymore. So if you've been like subject to all this stuff being pulled out of you and like crashes all over the place, hey, it's only human to have a tear and to be like, man, and troubled and like in pain, and experience the human experience to its full effect. This is what makes the whole point of it. But understand that it's being concluded, and that we have a very special bonus round before the year ends. Okay? So look at the numerology 1 to 9. Then October is a 1 month, November is a 2 month, and December is a 3 month. Follow me here. 1 to 9, and then 1 to 3, and then 1 to 9, 1 to 3, 1 to 9, 1 to 3. This is how the year breathes. Ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. Like, look at the numerology. The year looks like a heartbeat. It goes all the way up to the 9, and then it goes back up to the 3, and then back all the way up to the 9. And this is basically our 12 months at a time. We are experiencing the conclusion of the year right now. This bonus round, Christmas, Thanksgiving, the holidays, New Year's, you know, the weather turns, it becomes a holiday season, and the spirit of giving and all this big stuff happens inside of this year. It's almost a write-off. And, you know, we're like, okay, well, the cycle's going to start again, and then it's going to start again in January. I encourage you to take this moment in this 9, get rid of everything you need, and use this energy that's afforded to you in this month to do that. October starts a brand new year for you, a brand new vibration, a small little 1, 2, 3 hop, and it gives you a nice little thing to say, I'm going to weave my 2020 energy in now, because big things are coming. And when we say big things are coming, we're like, all right, let's just dive into what I mean by this. 2019 is a 3-year. A 3-year is not about business. A 3-year is not about money. It's about having fun and just being a big kid and enjoying and being creative. And if you are smart, well, you're smart. You're obviously smart. You're here, right? What's up? You're going to build your brand, build your voice, talk to people, say things, do stuff, make your business page for all you entrepreneurs who are like, let me take these notes. Build your business page as if your business is going for a run. If you just look like a coma and it's but one thing every day, and sometimes you see I don't post for a couple days because I'm dealing with my fam. I'm dealing with myself. I'm dealing with things in the real world. But the reality is that sometimes if you, well, not sometimes, but if you have a only sometimes beat, it looks like a coma. It looks like you're unconscious. But if you're out there, especially if 2019 is saying, be creative, go out there, broadcast your stuff, tell your story, and go out there and enjoy it. And we're sitting there being like, what? No, I want to work hard. I want to make money. I want to create business. I want to be a millionaire. I want to do this so freaking bad. And this is it. And like, we got this dedicated, desired energy. I got these 8s. I want these 8. And we look at the daylight and it's like, it's still not open yet. You like the race isn't open yet. You can go and run around the building 100 times so that you can get really good at running, because as soon as 2020 hits, boom, doors open. Now we have a year that says, get your ass to work. And then we're like, what? Well, I was trying to do that this whole time, but it wasn't working because the year said, let's just have fun and enjoy. So this is a really big opportunity to make sure that you're aware that next year, all of the 4 energy, if you guys have it, we're going to listen to you. All right, Sally, we're going to listen to you. Okay, Angelique, like these number 4s that show up in your chart say order, progress, process, system, logic, practical, non-emotional. Right now we're in the emotional year. So next year you guys have I'm like just peering into this and I'm like, okay, if everybody's letting go of stuff right now, here's the deal. Let go of all the emotional garbage that's holding you down. Let go of all of these stories if you need to. And like, and we're going through this together. Like we're like, get organized, like write it out, wait for the full moon, burn it. Whatever voodoo, crazy, cool thing you got to do, it's all good. I don't know what your ritual is, but let it go. Breathe it out. Inhale the power, exhale the waste. Maybe it means that we just need to go into your chart and take a couple quick little peeks to see what's happening inside of your vibe. Perhaps maybe there's a little hidden snag that, you know, we couldn't see the first time around, or you had to grow through or grow out of. But if I'm reading the writings on the wall and I'm getting spiritual friends who are getting these weird messages and they're like, I used to Google this, but now I have you. I just ask you. I'm like, okay. They call me like Booble. I don't know what you want to call me, but you know, this feeling is like, okay, they're like 444, 444. Why am I seeing all these 444s? Or one of my friends had a really crazy dream about a friend of theirs who was coming to them in a dream and said, wake up here. And then like zapped them awake. It was a really cool dream. And as soon as she looks up at the clock, it's 444. And I'm like, that's so cool. And I'm like, that's a crazy message. And I'm like, your friend is warning you to get your shit together because next year there's no dance, there's no party, there's no, like, this is like, all right, get in class. You guys said you wanted to get 6A. You want to build 6A farms. Everybody want to keep growing and keep moving through their business and whip out 100 like it's no big deal. This is what we have to build a culture around. So even me, I was like, well, in my cycle, we all have our own number. The world is saying 3. Some of you are in a 1 like me. Some of you are in a 9. Some of you in a completely different number in your chart. But for me, I'm like in a 1. So I have this idea. I have this vision, this new thing. I'm going to do stuff and I'm going to make things happen. And I'm going to, like I've got the podcast in production and the app is in development and let's do this with the sites. And now we got the automatic funnel thing going on. Let's get the lists and let's do the programs. And like my mind is like, whoosh, 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 like all of these cool ideas are beaming up because I am looking at the very beginning of a 9-year cycle. And right now we're year 3 in the planet. So we're still at the beginning, but like next year, it's no longer the time for brand new ideas. Now it's a time for We drew out the plan. We had the idea in our mind. We found the right people. All right, beep, beep, like the construction concrete trucks are coming. The rebar's here. Let's put in the work. Let's make sure we do the weekly call. Let's make sure we do this thing on discipline. And it was crazy. I thought, once a week, this is advice from Balaj, my mentor. He's like, dude, you got to do this. I'm like, okay, fine. What do you mean? He's like, every week do a numerology alignment session. Like I do a group session. And so every week I'm going to do like a group one, right? So I was like, okay, cool, let's do this. I advertise for it. I put out a bunch of posts and one person shows up. And then my wife's like, are you still going to do it? Hell yeah, I'm going to do it. Hell yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to not. Like there's no possible way, because I know that it doesn't matter if it's one person or 100, that one person can help 100. That's irrelevant. The reality is that you're committed to the discipline. You're committed to the discipline. And especially when things are requesting or saying, hey, it's slow right now. Hey, like business isn't happening. Or hey, things aren't working out inside of your thing, whatever. Work more, do more, create more, be there more. Like if you guys have ever followed the 10X levels, like from Grant Cardone, or if you're not first, you're last, or sell to survive, he talks about expanding through a contracting period. And I'm looking at the numerology stuff. I'm like, man, this is crazy, because a lot's on the line for a lot of people. And this is a year where, we should be enjoying and having a lot more fun. And everyone's out there with like, what's the secret ingredient? What's the missing ticket? What's the idea? What's the strategy? How do I figure this out? I'd like to think that you guys are peering into the future, because 2020 is a year for things to become structured and to really lay down a framework and a foundation for what's going to happen next. So I want to let you guys know, in case anyone's feeling that emotional anxiety, get your butt to work now. Don't wait for the January. You're getting your conclusion right now. This is it. This is the end. This is the heightened moment of the month. If you're in my side of the world right now, it's a one day. So this is a day for new beginnings. This is a day for absolutely new beginnings. If you're in Australia right now or down south, you're in a 2 energy right now, which is to say, hey, this is still in the new energy of saying, I'm going to make something happen. In a couple of days from now, we're going to see 9/9. Okay. This is a cosmic gateway, and we're consistently getting these 9 energies diced in with every single couple days that are happening this month. First of all, the tone says, let it go. Every couple of days, we're going to get another 9 energy that says, let it go. So we've got 3 or 4 different spots inside of the month. I'd say, I haven't counted them, I'll be honest. So there's going to be every time the day hits 9, and every time the month, the day, and the year all combined to a 9. So maybe 3 of those and 3 days that hit 9, so 6. So 6 days this month where you're going to be able to pull stuff out. Think of this as your spiritual end of the party, where everyone's gone, and now you got to basically like throw out all the crap, throw out all the stuff that doesn't necessarily need to be there anymore. It could just be that, it's the story that's holding us back, or the challenge that's holding us back. So when I envisioned this, I was having this in my mind. I figured some people may have stuff. If you have stuff and you want to unload it, or you want to show up with it, feel free to raise your hand, unmute yourself. And then what we can do is we can kind of like push your shit out everywhere. And obviously people are going to be like, well, I don't want to do that. Like, it's going to, it's all awkward. I promise you something. The more that you're vulnerable with what you're going through and the things that you're experiencing, the more it can help other people. All right. So Estelle's unmuted herself. Are you in? Do you want to like put some shit on the table here?
I like being first. I like being vulnerable. It makes me stronger.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
And selfishly, I'm thinking what you're about to give is going to help a lot of other people too. I guess that's not selfish. That's the opposite of selfish.
Mm-hmm. I'm a medicine woman. My medicine is water and sharing my story.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Let's pull something out. What are we letting go of?
Well, something that you brought out for me just a little while ago that I wrote down is, I know how powerful my energy is, and I'm afraid to let people experience it. Sometimes I have little or no control of how that energy emerges or which energy is emerging. And it's terrifying. It's terrifying. It's terrifying for me, and it's terrifying for other people. And it's a block. It's a major block.
So how do you acknowledge that by knowing that you're going to get through it? Is there a way to like spin that you can make it into a positive?
It's going to take me a little bit. It takes me a little bit to think it and process it. Let me just try.
That's okay. You can try as well. I'm opening that up to other people as well. How do we turn terror and fear into something positive? That's a response mechanism. Can you imagine if you were so numb that you wouldn't even know and you were just living in a state of fear and did you write this?
I did write it down, yeah.
So you took the time and the effort to express this idea on pen and paper.
Yeah.
So basically this is like your reclaiming of power over your terror and your fear, because you're not going to let it just sit there with you. You're going to put it down so you can look at it and see it, and it's no longer stuck inside of you. When I'm looking at this, I'm like, this is a really strong mechanism that allows you to recognize your temperature. Your temperature gauges are working. This scares the shit out of me. This is terrifying. I can't let people in. Why is it that, or whatever it is that I have, why does this block here? And I would like to think that you need blocks in order to build your castle. Ask any 4-year-old. So, you have to know that these things that happen serve a purpose. And even more powerful, these blocks or bricks or crap that you have to deal with in your life, on the inside is this really powerful gem that one day when you get strong enough to punch through it, it's going to actually unload. You're going to be able to break free from this. And I would like to see you break free from it. This is the whole point. But the reality, of course, reality is that you took the time and effort to actually manifest it on paper. So it's not sitting there stewing inside of you anymore. And this is really counterintuitive, because there is like, on one side they say what you focus on expands, but on the other side we say what resists persists. So it's like, okay, well, if I don't want to acknowledge it, then, it's going to stay there. But if I focus on it, then it's going to expand. I say, make it like a good balloon. Keep blowing it up until it pops. And then next thing you know, it's like it's garbage now. And so you can go in there and just be like, I'm super afraid. I'm very terrified of this. I need to understand that I'm standing in my power of terror because I don't like what this feels like. I have to make that very clear. Otherwise, I'd be numb. And I've been numb. And I know what that feels like. And I'm looking at this now being like, what really scares me? My kids. And like, that's a real terror. And that's a real fear, to think that I'm responsible for helping these people through. And they're showing up these little tiny gurus of what my inner child wished that I had. And I get a chance to go back and say, you know what? I'm going to act in fear. Like in the face of fear, in the face of terror, I'm going to act anyway. I'm going to write this down. I'm going to burn it on a full moon. That's like the only thing I know how to do with electric stuff. I like smudge it, roll it up, and, smoke that shit and get that thing out of here and let that thing move back into the way of the universe. But I promise you, the ideas that you share with this, you being vulnerable, other people are like, yeah, me too. I'm terrified of this success thing. I'm like, why? Why do we do that to ourselves? What makes us so afraid of becoming wealthy? We didn't learn it from our parents. We were sold it from an idea from someone. There's this deep thing thinking, oh my God, they're just trying to make money. He's just trying to sell events. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to create a safe community for us to grow. And that's really like, it terrifies me too. Like, can you imagine? Like, I joke about it now being like, oh yeah, don't worry. If this thing ever not works out, I'll just go get a job at the mall. And I was looking at it, laughing to myself, thinking what it would look like to go and print a resume. And like, it's really crazy because, it inspired and spawned this idea that I have to help you guys build brands. So inside of this cool package that doesn't exist yet, I'm thinking it's somewhere around like a $3,000 relationship. You get 1 year full of hosting. We build a page for you. There's a checkout link so that people can buy your time. And you know how you guys go in to book me? But there are modalities and NLP artists and coaches and people who want to do stuff. And I figured that would be a really good way to support people. So super kind of like little sideline, but this is what we do. We get afraid of stuff and we get really like terrified of moving forward and we feel paralyzed. I think that's the universe's way of telling us to sit down and absorb everything that's happening. Learn from everything that you see. Why you guys get terrified? What's the fear of rejection, of abuse? Feeling that you're not good enough, that you're going to be ridiculed, that someone's going to make fun of you, that you're going to feel like, like you didn't do the right thing. Like, what about the bigger fear of if I don't do this, and if I don't stand up, and if I don't be vulnerable, Like imagine you took this thing you wrote, and let's say you write it down, right? And then you turn it into a go live, and you're like, guys, I'm terrified. I got this problem. It's a story that I've been holding, and I just want to let you know that by expressing it, I'm releasing it. I'm no longer going to do this anymore. I'm sharing with people that I speak to vulnerability, and it's good if you have it. It's good. There's a really weird triggering posts out there, and you could be one of those weird posts to be like, look, it's not all sunshine and roses. It's not all butterflies and unicorns. Sometimes we get pulled and the fear is real. And what do? We share it with others so that other people can find light in a dark time. I choose to shine brightly through this anyway. I want to make sure that I show up with it. And that's, again, back to the story about I had when I was like, I got to speak on addiction. I absolutely have to tell people about this. So super cool. I don't want to miss out on the chat. You guys are having too much fun in there. So Vicky's saying 2222. All right. That's pretty sweet when we see a bunch of twos. Partnership, connection. Find the people. Make sure you get those handshakes in. Really powerful. Susie says, I'm a 4. It's going to be our year, Sally. Yes. If you have a 4 in your chart, if you don't have a 4 in your chart, work extra hard. Some of you guys looking back at our replays and you're like, I don't have a 4. I don't have a 4 at all. Well, I'd like to think blessing and challenge. But if you don't have a 4, next year is going to be extraordinarily important that you capitalize and work harder than you ever have. Imagine there's a bear chasing you or like a really crazy mountain lion. And like, if you stop, then whatever you end up communicating this year freezes. So if you're like sitting there doing the right moves and then, it freezes and you're like in this moment of like power, this is what's going to solidify in the universe. If you're like, ah, and then you freeze like this, you're like, ah, this is what the universe is going to remember for the next 5 years. This 4 is where the things settle. So we want to make sure that this year has been used for that factory mentality, that follow the drill, run the play. A really cool one from Balaj a long time ago. He told us to us, and he was like, the NFL team he follows. I don't follow football. And he's like, they win. They go for the basic play over and over and over again. They do the dumb work over and over and over again. They don't go for the crazy, huge, big superstar like NFL pass that's like, oh my God, the greatest reel of all time. They are stable and they do the same thing over and over with predictable results. This is the kind of mentality that 2020 is going to be asking you guys for. And also, just so we're kind of like aware of it, 2019 is also a 9 number in there. It's the end of a decade. We are literally ending the 20 teens and we're going into the 2020s. Like, time moves on. And to think, it was crazy. I graduated like almost 20 years ago. I saw one of my buddies on the ferry and I'm like, whoa, what's up, man? He's like covered in tats now. I'm like, dude. And he's like, yeah, it's been such a long time, man. I'm like, yeah, man, great to see you. And I didn't realize it was almost 20 years ago, 2002. Where, like Puff Daddy was still a thing. Like, that's crazy. And like, to think that we're moving into this new, place in our lives and time's never stopping, but the decade is ending. The month is showing conclusion. We're showing a large level of let go. Our wheelbarrows are full. All we have to do now is tip them over. Some a little bit more, challenging than the next. So in case you're stuck in that feeling, you're like, this hurts. Hurt with me, my friend. Hurt with me. Because I'm here with you. I'm going to help you through this. All of us are. This is what we have, the group chats and, the group page. And I'll be fair, a little bit of me is sad to think I can't keep adding more people into the chat. Like, this is so sad. And like, there's a cool little thing that's happening in there, or at least starting to show up. And it's a pleasure to have you guys in there. So you guys have like one of the dying spaces in there. Like, this is it. We've hit the group. And it's so super cool to have you guys in there. Absolutely cool. So let's have some here. Angelique says not good at delayed gratification. That's not cool. So tomorrow is a good let go day. Great. Love this as 9 here. Absolutely. If you guys are in this, you're in this, and letting go of stuff is really good. Craig brings out a really powerful sage-like wisdom. Fear is self-protection. Self-protection is self-love. Self-love is self-worth. Worthy of love. That's like a really nice roundabout way of like teaching you that your fear is okay to have. It's a healthy response mechanism. There is still a caveman brain that is in the fight or flight mode, and we've evolved into our spiritual brain. We're like, get into the 5D, get into the 5D. I'm like, whatever happened to the 4D? Did we just skip that? Like, we're living a 3D experience here. Like, oh, 4D is all about time. 5D is all about emotional and energetic. And there's this transcendence that we're all going through, right? This vibration is rising. And I like to think that we're direct components of the rising in vibration. Literally, your names are now in alignment. So do yourself a favor. Go into your settings of your Zoom preferences outside of a call and make sure your name is set so that it doesn't always keep showing up in balance. Do yourself a favor. Go do your username. Actually, you know what? I'll show you. This is really cool. I'll show you guys this so you guys can get an idea of where we show up. Okay, so this is a cool little small impromptu training of how numbers show up. So feel free to take some notes. Feel free to take a screenshot. Feel free to take a shot with your phone. I'll leave it up for a few minutes. Hold on, let's open this up a little bit. And this is a running list of all of the places where a vibration has already shown up for clients of ours or people inside of our group. So in case you're like, oh, I use a front door of office in my office, or hey, I've got a team name, or hey, I've got a signature, hey, I've got family, hey, I've got a passport, or actually, bad example, the ones in black are legal, so probably try to stay away from those unless we have a personal conversation. But if you want to tell the universe that you've made a choice and made a switch and made a move, might be a good idea to make sure that all of the things that you're using here, and some of them hit pain points. And you're like, ooh, Facebook business, that's right. I need my business account name. Ooh, my back office. Oh, that's right. I need to have that thing working. I need to make sure that my business is going. I've got the story around this. I'd like to think a story is just a set of vibrations that are either working or not working. And sometimes we're telling a really good story, and sometimes we're just trying to validate the reason why it's not working. So Estelle, I appreciate you so much for putting yourself out there like that. Kudos for writing your problems down. A lot of people never get that far. They never take a pen and they never open it and actually literally spend the muscle memory connection to the brain memory and literally waste paper and ink writing your magic onto the page. These are codes. This is magic. This is the best that we have, remnants of what magic really is. And just like looking at this, this is all of the vibration as we see it. And some of these numbers work really good. Some of them don't serve us so well. So just to know that every single thing you are saying is communicating something. Is it communicating the way you want it to? So these are really cool places. If you guys have any more, would love to have them added to the list. This is something I show my clients nowadays. I've grown. So in case it's been a year, 6 months, or even the last 3 months have been a monumental shift, remember that link in the chat. You might want to keep it so you can use it to come out and talk to me. Angelique says here, sometimes we can confuse self-love as being isolation. Yeah, I like to think that Karen just nailed it there. And like for me, I really blurred that line. And I felt like, it started as a way to just cure or have fun and experience joy, but then isolation turned into addiction, and then it ended up really showing that I didn't have the self-love that I needed, even though I was wanting to promote it. That was the biggest one thing I did. And it wasn't until I actually put my hand up and said, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to embarrass myself in front of everybody that I know, my cousins, my family, my sisters. My sister was like, no, I don't believe you. We're putting you in rehab. My mom was like, you can't move out. My dad's like, you got to get out of here. And everybody was like, had an opinion. I'm like, no, I can't. The reason why I'm telling you guys this is because I'm not going to do it anymore. And I can't do it anymore. And I haven't. So it feels really good to know that I'm not still stuck in that darkness, and I'm being repaid now by the life that I'm living. So please, if anything, just know that like you can have all the potential and still fail, get fired, broken up with, kicked out of your house, on drugs, no money to your name, everything's falling apart. You got to work a really shitty looking job. I got a job as a taxi dispatcher. I wish I had my headset here. It would be really funny to show you guys what I look like. Can I do that? You guys want to see that? Let's just see if I can find it. Just to give you guys an example. I want to give you guys an idea of like what I had to deal with. And let's see if I can find it really quickly, because it'd be really cool if I could. And I don't think I can. It's too bad. But that would be really fun to watch. to see, is it in here? Yeah, I've got too many things. But I'll show it to you guys next time. There's a picture of me with a headset on, and I have it. I still have it. I keep it as a memory of who I used to be. But it was basically like a one-sided headset where it comes in like this, like the kind you see in a commercial where the guy's like really happy about his life, when really he's just taking calls, getting yelled at every day. And this was like at the low point of my being, where I was like, man, I can't do this anymore. And I gave up on myself, and everything failed, and everything quit. You can still rise. You can still create something of value for yourself. There is a powerful place called personal achievement, personal wellness, personal development. We have people, Angelique's working with kids. We have people working as coaches, people working that they help other people. They want to lead other people. Andy does TEDx talks. Like, come on. Like, there's value in sharing your story and letting people, like, I remember hearing Andrew's story. I'm going to pull this out here for you, man. He's like, oh, as a kid, I wanted to be a wrestler, you know, like WWF. And he ends up going on to fulfill that dream. And that's one of the most coolest things ever, to think, man, like, if all of us just went after that dream that we had as a kid, like, can you imagine? And me getting married, as lame as it sounds, I'm like, I wasn't about wrestling. I mean, I definitely, you know, The Rock, smell what The Rock is cooking, you know what I'm saying? But the reality was that, like, my childhood dream was to get married and be a dad. And now that I reached it, I'm like, whoa, you know, it's that surreal feeling of like, what next? What now? What do we do now? Where do we go from here? So your last move, as challenging as it could have been, as much as it's happened, you've survived it. And not many of us, or every one of us can say that. Some of us don't. Some of us are not here. Some of us say they would be. Some of us have checked out of the business. They've checked out of the group chat. They don't want the continued support. Some of us are just not there, and they're not there for themselves on a daily basis. And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, I know that there is a seed of ember, a flame that's in there that, given the right circumstances and the right oxygen, is gonna turn into a fire again. You're not out yet. And so I hope that you guys find a lot of value in that. Yeah. Anyway, so Angelique is saying, I liked the way you explained what I had written the other day, that I cataloged my fears, but my dreams and purposes were inside of them. That was profound for me. Yeah, it was a really good one. I think that was inside of the Numerology Alumni group. So if you guys have 15 minutes, whoo, I don't think I could reproduce that if I tried. I tried and I couldn't. And I'm like, man, that was a powerful message. Tanis was there. She's like, dude, this is so amazing right now. Susie's saying, hold back your light, your gifts blocking you being true to you, receiving in your abundance. It's tough because, you know, we got a lot of these energies inside of us that are, it's so weird that we're not actually able to receive. And it's like, how do you even acknowledge that? Like, how do you acknowledge your inability to receive, you know? And you look at it and it's true, because someone's like, hey, good job. And you're like, oh, don't worry about it. Or, hey, thank you for doing that. You're like, oh, it was nothing. Or like, oh, you look so good today. No, I don't. Ugh. Like, and Sally does that to me. I'm like, honey, you look so gorgeous. She's like, no, I don't. I don't look good. And I'm like, relax with that. Like, all of us, we have to really stop. And the very, very first thing in the morning, and this is why I've told this to some of you, maybe some of you guys don't know this yet. There are 3 really cool places that this is like skill set stuff, okay? Like actual tangible things that you can do. One is sticky notes. Like, just go graffitiing all over your house. And here's a hint. Everything you touch or everything you interact with, a light switch or a mirror or a door handle or like a fridge or microwave or oven or anything, write a sticky note of positive affirmation that's saying something like, I'm worthy, I'm enough, thank you for not giving up on my dreams. Thank you. Every day gets better. I have a gorgeous bodies. We eat healthy meals. All of our food is nutritious. And, we make healthy decisions. We read books. And thank you for reading. And thank you for investing in it. And I just basically put all of these thank yous all over my house. And one of the really most powerful places that you're probably going to see it the first time you see yourself is when you go into the bathroom. And, you go look in the mirror. Some of us don't even look at ourselves in the mirror. And I remember that place where I was like, I even said, oh, this is so embarrassing. Oh, you guys ready for this? I'm about to embarrass and vulnerable. All right. I would go into the bathroom and I would know that the mirror is there. And I would say this to myself. Oh man, I can't not say it now. I mean, like, I don't do this anymore, I promise. But I would say to myself, I'm not even worth looking at. Like I don't even need to recognize myself. I'm just gonna like, and I would say that I'm just gonna piss my like little meager existence away, because half the time I was really high in my mind and I couldn't even focus on my own eyes. But there was that guilt and that shame, thinking I'm not even worthy to acknowledge myself. And I was, oh, that was like a really challenging place. So the most important place you could put a sticky note is in the bathroom on the mirror, and just line that thing right up and basically put all of your really cool mantras and affirmations. And it's this one time. You couldn't imagine if I told you every day, pull out a new sticky note, every day, pull out a new pad and just rank your house with sticky. You couldn't do that, but you could do it once. If you did it once, then next thing you know, it's good. I remember we were moving out of our last house, and I was like kind of emotional because, we're leaving the house and I don't like moving. And like I'm going through every room, taking all of the sticky notes with me and putting them back together. I put them in and I decorated my new place with them. And like this feeling is thinking that like these were codes that protected us. These were protection wards that were like, and people came to my house and they're like, what's 6A? I'm like, oh, yeah, don't worry about it. And like, what's this? Oh man, like you have all these really cool little sticky notes. And I'm like, first I was embarrassed. And then I was like, feeling, oh my God, I did this so that people could, find some value. And really it was for us. I forget that they're even there. And then I looked, I'm like, oh my God, I must look like a crazy person to the guests that come into my house, because they're just littered everywhere. And sometimes the kids have one in their mouth and they're like chewing on it, they're ripping it up. And, it's life, right? But this is one of them, is writing sticky notes. The second one is setting your alarm clock. Okay, so I'll show you my alarm clock here so you guys can see this. Ooh, cool. Look at that. 2:22 in Sydney. There you go. That's a powerful little piece for you guys right there. Let's take a look at this. Where is it? Alarm clock, right? So I have alarms that go off every hour. And so I know that I'm going to be interrupted by a message that says grateful for life. First thing that wakes me up in the morning, divine angel love, we love you, take the dog for a walk. All of these vibrations have these small little text messages I'm going to send to myself on an hourly basis that gives me a spiritual moment of respite, so I can at least just for that one fraction, for that 1 minute, I can get pulled away from what I'm doing. And usually I go up and give my lady a kiss. Or we go up and say, oh, 222, and we start measuring our phones and being like, oh, what's your battery? What's the temperature? And how many cool numbers are all lighting up at the same time? And we usually catch them, because that's what you do when you start catching the clock. You catch other things. And so that's number 2. Set yourself an hourly gong that goes off so that you can break yourself from the pattern that you're in every hour. And the third one, this will be the most important thing that you guys can ever do for yourself, okay? You're machines. I'm not going to say that again. Just kidding. I'm going to say that forever. We are machines. We are actually biomechanical robots. So as much as like, oh, that's not very romantic, Bobby. Like, come on. I'm like, look, I get that you want to feel that way. I understand there's an emotional body, but medical science is a science. Like these guys are like biomechanics. So these are machines. And to think that this is a random thing, it's like, that doesn't even it's impossible. Like to think that this would be a chaotic thing. We've stood the test of time and we're transcending consciousness, and we're even having this conversation. So I promise you, we're a machine. We are a vessel. And this is like, we need to be acting like it. So I introduce you to the daily method of operation. This little thing here, okay, is a wonderful way of making sure that, it's called a calendar, that you're going to be on a schedule. So you set time on your calendar to meditate. You set time on your calendar to eat. You set time on your calendar to sleep. You set time on your calendar to read. You set time on your calendar to exercise. You set time on your calendar to build your business. You set time on your calendar for entertainment. And then the rest of my calendar is basically filled out for me by you beautiful people, where we look at my sessions getting taken place in the second half of the day. At the beginning half of the day, I serve. I serve my family. I serve myself. I do exactly what we need to do to make sure we have a good solid day so that we can get through the day. If you don't plan your day is planned around you. And these are like things that you can like set once and oh my God, I'm in a 1 day energy, or it's a new moon, or it's any given Tuesday, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to take today and do this. You have an ongoing, that's the power of phones, personal little electronic assistant who will remind you every hour to wake up and to love yourself. And also every day that says, look, this is what you should be doing today. And yeah, let's get part of the 5 a.m. club. I was part of it in the summer, and then, the wedding and getting kids back to school. And I started to sort of drain on my mornings a little bit, and I felt it. I feel it. But I know that I'm different now. I know that I've installed something in my life that's going to help me get better. So as you guys watch what happens next, like you guys have already seen what's been happening over the last couple months. Some of you over the last couple of years, Bobby's changed. I'm growing. I'm absolutely rising. And yeah, I'm still going to deal with some bad stuff. I'm still going to get flat tires. Someone's going to hit my car. Things are going to go down. I'm going to get caught my pants down. There's going to be challenges that happen inside of our lives. It's never going to end. But I promise you, the pants are going to get better every time, and the car is going to get better every time, and my attitude towards it's going to get better every time. I remember one time someone cut me off, 2001, maybe 1999, maybe like 2004, something around there. And I came out of my car with a baseball bat, waving at him, made like a crazed look on my face. And I'm like, what are you doing? Get out of here, get out of here. And I was like, I literally did that. And then I was, of all things, dressed in a suit, shirt, and dress pants with dress shoes, coming out like a crazy mafioso here. People were like, "Well, this crazy Indian guy." And I went back and I threw the bat in the car and I slammed my door, like Civic, like straight up hardcore with the Civic over here, right? And and then $60-something thousand 2019 4Runner. I'm at the intersection and this lady starts going. I'm like, no. Put the car into park. Oh God, I gotta get out of the car, not freak out. I gotta get out of the car, not freak out. I get out of the car, I calmly walk to the dent. I'm like, I'm so sorry. And then I look at it and there's this big like thing that's on my fender, and I'm just like, this headache is ensuing. And then I walk up to the lady, I walk up to her car, I'm like, you okay? I know, right? Super annoying. It's all good. I'll just hey, you know what? Just make sure you be careful. She's like, oh my God, I'm she's like freaking out, and I'm like, like dressed in black 4Runner, glasses on. I look like a gangster. Okay, I got my chain on and all this black stuff on. I'm like looking pretty scary, and I just walk up to her. I'm like, are you okay? Like energy as well. I'm like, these things happen. It's, what, we're gonna have to deal with it. It's like, don't beat yourself up. Just be careful. She's like, can we handle this out of insurance? And can I, she's like thinking it's gonna be like $100 thing. I'm like, that's like a $2,000 fender, honey. And just reality speaks is that you get a choice to decide how are we gonna react to this situation that life throws at us. What value are we gonna put in? I walked away being like, you know what? That was really tough. And I nailed it. I didn't freak out. I'm so pissed off because my brand new car got hit, but I handled it like a champ. Now we're going to get it fixed and everything's going to be just fine. And Sally's like, no, we need the car replaced and it's structural damage and this and that. I'm like, trust me, it wasn't that accident. It's not safe to put the car seats in there anymore. I bless my such a sweet, cute wife. She's like, no, everything needs to be done absolutely powerful. We need a new car. And I'm like, yeah, we should get a bigger car, shouldn't we? So stay tuned for that. That may or may not happen. But guys, I'm just super blessed to be able to do this with you. I want to respect everyone's time. I've got a place to be in half an hour. So I do want to give some more people a chance in case you feel like unmuting yourself and throwing your shit on the table and being like, dude, this is what I'm dealing with. Let's find value in it. I'll use my last 30-something years on this planet to show you how well we can carve a silver lining from this. So if you don't want to put it on the table, you don't have to. I will just read the chats and see what's up. And I'll throw this out to anyone who's watching this now who has not given me a video review testimonial. Now's your chance. You're on camera. If you want to tell me a 1 to 2 minute, 30 to 60 second, what has this time done for you? What has our time together meant to you? What have you been able to pull from it? I will gift you a free report, a written report, owner's manual, either for your next year to update you or to gift off to someone else. Vicky, what's going on?
Hello.
Hey.
Yeah, your reading that you did for me the other week was absolutely amazing and spot on. Now I've just got to remove all my blockages and my numb feelings.
I'm glad that we had that. Yeah, that was a really great time. You want to tell us a little bit about it? What was the biggest revelation for you?
Uh, it's just that growing up, I didn't have any feelings. Didn't matter whether it was a death or anything. So I'm gradually releasing all the blocks and stuff, and I know what my best direction for me is now.
So, do you think that you didn't experience them and they're still sitting there waiting to be unloaded? Or do you feel like now it's just time for you to start experiencing emotions?
I think it's more. It's probably a bit of both.
Okay, okay.
More to do with a bit of unloading, but also now I can start experiencing them as well.
I appreciate you for that. It's wonderful to watch you grow. And sometimes we see this light in your face that when you work with me and we're getting this feeling of like, after I met Bobby, oh my God, everything turned on. And some of us are like, it didn't turn on for me. I'm not sure if I'm missing something or, whatever shows up. And it's nice to be able to see this joy bubbling and flowing through your
Mm.
energetic vibe. And you can feel it. I know you can. And it's like you're walking in a new vibration. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Let's see here. Angelique, that's why I'm being drawn to daily rituals. Daily rituals are everything, guys. We have to we go to sleep, we wake up, we eat, we go to the bathroom. These are daily rituals that we do. We don't even think about them. I'm so excited for people's health coming up. Karen says this. Of course you are. This is your neck of the woods. It's helping people become healthier from within. Absolutely. Letting go of lots of shit here, material and spiritual. Mama Joe, get it going. Get it out. Garage sale, big bonfire, recycle. We just took a bunch of bins of clothes, kids' clothes to donate. Brandy Lynn is saying decluttering all areas of my life to clear up space. Thank you. Because really, this is the time to do it. All right. I can see Jen running around stealing all your stickies. She does that. Absolutely. It's so much fun. Always one with I love you. Thank you. I do the Marissa Peer trick in the bathroom in lipstick. You are enough. That's awesome. I also window marked it on the back of my car so everyone sees it as I'm driving around. So is that on the outside or did you write on the inside backwards so that you can see it on the? I'm just kidding. But yeah, that's really cool. I don't use lipstick, so I basically just wait for the window to get nice and steamy and I put a big heart on it. But it's funny, before when I was in the shower, I'd always put my hand on the glass and then take it off and say, I'm alive. And like, I'm still here and that I'm taking up space. And that was that one confirmation in a very bleak and dark time, I'll mind you, but absolutely it was at least something. Estelle, when I brush my hair, I say to myself, I'm amazing, I'm powerful, I'm a magnificent being. When I drink my water, I'm like, and I realize when I drink my water, this is what I do. Like, this is the face that I make because I put my head under the hose. I don't even use a glass. I need no glass. I put my head under the hose and I drink it. I'm like, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. And I'm drinking in love straight from the hose, like straight up. And it's funny because I forget that when people come over and I'm like, ooh, awkward, not sorry. Joanne says, I use the chalk markers on the mirror or window. Please, guys, get used to leaving yourself booby traps of love. That's what we call it. How do you schedule a message to yourself hourly? You take your alarm on your phone, and some of you guys have alarms. Some of you guys, have an iPhone, Android, and then under your alarm, you'll add a new alarm. And then I do, 11 11 10 111 222 333 444 555. And so I get these numbers like 606 707 808 909 1010. And so I get this hourly beep that goes off, and it's got a label on it that says, because you can put a label on your phone that says, look, I'm gonna, it can have a positive affirmation. So right in the thick of it, right when I'm in session, 222 goes off, and I'm like, not bad. Or right in that moment, it goes off at that same time. So on your phone clock setting, yeah, it has an alarm. You can give it a title. Sweet, cool, thank you. I just joined the club, the 5 a.m. club, day 14. Awesome, Susie. That's so cool. Really, really powerful time to be alive. I'm reading the 5 a.m. club. I'm starting with Monday, 5 a.m. wake up. You should be going to sleep by about 10:30 if you really want to wake up at that time in the morning. I'd say get used to making a daily routine that gets you out of the day by around 10 to 10:30. How do we react to our reactions is so powerful. Absolutely. Be responsive, not reactive. Cool. Thanks, Karen. I don't use lipstick. I bought cheap red just for that purpose. That's so funny. Whiteboard markers work on mirrors and windows too. Hey, that's a good one, Craig. I'm going to do that one. Whiteboard mirrors, you know, the temporary markers. That's a really powerful one. Cool. Okay, guys. So a couple of cool things to really solidly mention. I'm going to start coming out with some new stuff, and your testimonials are absolutely vital for me. So when I get a chance to see that you guys have, you know, like given me stuff or given me a 1-minute video or anything that I can use for my marketing, I thank you so much profusely from the, you know, from the bottom of my heart, the bottom of my soul, from the success of my business, an organization. I appreciate you guys. This is an open space for us. We're going to be transitioning over to the group more than the chat because I can't add anyone in there. But feel free to stay in there as a nice little, like, the first group of people that got into the chat. We're in the building legs of my organization and my business. I'm on a 1 year. So I'm starting a 9-year cycle, which means I have some big things to do in this decade. And that includes a space for you guys, a space for the healers, the ones with modalities, the coaches, the ones who are healing, the ones who are teaching, you and your program, you and your next big thing, you and your ad campaign. Maybe it's just your magic business. There's a space for you to rise into leadership. And I would hope that for every one of my numerological children, like we gave you guys new names. I felt like I fathered or birthed your new name with you. I want to see it become super successful. I want to see it enjoy the abundance and the wealth that you truly deserve and desire. So if you get caught thinking some negative stuff, write it down. Do what Estelle does. Write it down. Angelique does this. Write it down. And let it know, let the universe know that you're not going to let that thing sit inside of you, that you're going to put it out in the front and that you're going to make it happen. And it could be as easy as writing it on your phone. That's kind of cheating. But actually pen, actual paper, and go out there and actually put this stuff together. You'll feel better after. Absolutely. You remember that thing they say you can write a letter to someone that, you know, and then that you never give to them as a way to sort of move it out of, you know, and that's really what happens with this kind of stuff. That you get a chance to actually let the energy flow out of you, and anything that you can do that'll give you a leg to your vibe will be the best thing that you can do, because you can't do everything, but at least you can do something. So I appreciate you guys so much for everything. I thank you guys so much. I'm going to make a replay available. And what we'll do is we're going to set another call for the beginning of August. I really want to do a like a brand new beginning thing, because that's what the energy is going to be all about. But just as long as you know, today, this month, this whole 9, every time you find one, and if you recognize it, you're like, oh, cool, 9's all over the address, or look at the odometer says 9's on it. It's a good, soft little numerological reminder that things conclude, all things in cycles, everything comes to an end, all good things come to an end, all bad things come to an end, everything comes to an end, and even the end stands for energy never dies, right? Black Eyed Peas, anybody remember that? That feeling says that, you know what, there is a cyclical nature to everything, and you guys are experiencing the conclusion of another one. So be blessed and take gratitude for your lives. I appreciate you guys for being in mine. We will see you guys very, very soon. I'm going to be with Susie tomorrow, 9/9 at 9 a.m. It's going to be a pretty powerful feel. We're going to do Susie's call is a lot of fun, and I hope to see you guys there. We'll make sure we post a link in here too, Susie, so everyone can get in on that. But yeah, let's have some fun, guys. All about letting go. And sometimes you need to be vulnerable. If you really want my advice, I'm not going to put a challenge or anything, but I'll just tell you this. You tell your audience and you be vulnerable with someone and you say, you know, this is going to help some people. Me sharing this with you is going to help people to get through something with what they're growing. Be a hero. Go in and pull out your stinkiest garbage, most thing that you really didn't like about yourself, and put it out there and be like, even with flaws, I'm still a winner. Even, you know, with all the crap that I have to deal with, I'm still going for it. I'm still going to make it another day. And watch what type of love energy starts spinning around you because of it. Super, super cool, super powerful. All right, guys, thanks. Much love. Thanks so much, brother. Appreciate you, Andrew. We'll see you guys soon. And thanks so much for being here. All right, guys, take care. Bye.